Well, everybody, it's that time of year again. The AFL Finals are back, and I'm here to give you my full rundown of the entire final series. It's been a tradition on the channel for years now, and it would be rude if I didn't come back to do one this year. I'll be predicting every single game of the 2025 AFL Final Series, including a premiere. If you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel down below. Without further ado, we'll get straight into it. Alright, first game we have on the Thursday night, it is the Crows and the Pies at Adelaide Oval. And, well, obviously the Crows got it done a few weeks back against the Pies in a nail-biter. And the Pies, they have had a really poor end to their 2025 season. I mean, their record isn't sitting pretty over the last couple of months, but they do love to step up in final series. Crows, well, they haven't made finals since 2017, where they did make the grand final. Obviously, they got done in the end by Richmond, but yeah, they have not played finals footy in a while, the Crows. And the Pies, well, they're pretty much in it every season. Now, majority of people are going to be backing in the Crows here, considering it is at their home deck, but the Pies have something to prove, in my opinion, and I'm going to tip the Pies to get it done by 1 point to kickstart the 2025 final series. It's going to be a cracking game, and, well, they're in it for a bit of revenge against the Crows after last time. And when they're in finals, Collingwood are one of, if not the most dangerous team. And yeah, look, the Crows, well, they've had a couple of shaky wins to end their season as well. That one against North, well, it wasn't too convincing. However, yeah, I'm really interested to see how the Crows do perform in this, especially in finals. They haven't been here for a while, but I'm going to be backing in the Pies by 1 point, so they'll progress onto a home prelim final. Next game we have is Brisbane and Geelong at the MCG. What a cracking game this one is. Obviously, these two teams played out in a prelim final at the G last season, and the Lions just got the Chockies in the end in a bit of an upset win. Obviously, Geelong's home game. They're not getting a home final at ģēģe Stadium, which some people say it's a bit stiff and some people say it's fair due to crowds, but in my opinion, a few years ago, I would say play them at the MCG, but considering they've just had a whole bloody stadium reco, I feel like it's pretty stiff for the Cats to be going to Melbourne to play their home finals there when they've literally done up the stadium so they can play home finals and have bigger crowds in there. So, yeah, a bit unlucky in my opinion for the Cats, and this is going to be a final for the ages. The Lions, I'm still not fully convinced on the Lions, and I'm also still not fully convinced in Geelong, to be honest. I reckon this is going to be a really similar game to what we saw in the prelim final last year, and due to that, I'm going to be tipping the Lions to get it done by 11 points in a close game. It'll be back and forth all day, but just at the end there, the Lions will sneak home and kick a couple late. And yeah, rain will have an absolute impact, that's for sure. This will be a game for the ages, though. Every single final series game is going to be really close, I reckon. I reckon there'll be one game in the entire final series that's above 20 points the margin. Other than that, it's going to be really tight. So I'm going to be backing the Lions here. But the Cats, they're a sniff. I'm still not fully convinced with both of these sides, as I just mentioned. But I reckon the Lions, I don't know, there's something about the Lions in final series. They won the flag last year. Yeah, I'm gonna back them in. Here we go. The first elimination final is between the Giants and the Hawks at ģēģe Stadium. This is huge. And, well, we're playing finals in an absolute terrible ground, actually. Well, look, it is the Giants' home ground, but like we just mentioned, if we're comparing it to Geelong and how they can't play at ģēģe, then it's a bit stiff. Anyway, regardless on that, yeah, the Giants are another team I'm not fully convinced on at all. I seriously, don't really recall many strong, solid wins the Giants have had over the season. They beat Geelong a couple of times, which is pretty solid. Now, my memory could just be absolutely playing up at the moment, but other than that, I don't really recall any massive, upsets or massive statement wins, I guess you could say. And the Hawks, they've also been a bit up and down in form. There's a few teams in this top 8 which I'm still not fully convinced on, and it's sort of hard to tip considering there's a lot of teams that I'm not certain on and they're playing each other in the finals. It's just, some of these are just a huge 50-50 matchup. And the Hawks, well, they're going to have to travel over to Sydney to play Giants at their home deck. And the Giants at their home deck, they haven't made it a fortress at all this season. And because of that, I'm actually going to be backing the Hawks to get this one done by 8 points. I feel like towards the back end of the season, the Hawks have just been rolling the footy a little bit smoother. And I'm just a bit more convinced with the Hawks and sort of where they're going this final series. I don't think they'll go too much further than this, the Hawks. But, yeah, I reckon the Giants will be knocked out again. They did get knocked out in straight sets last year. So, disappointing for the Giants. But I'm going to be backing the Hawks here. And the last final for the first week, it is the Dockers taking on the Suns at Optus Stadium. This is huge. If you are new to the channel, I'm a Freo man. And, well, we're playing the Suns in their first ever final, which I guess now I'm looking at it could be a little bit scary because, I mean, they've been waiting a long time for this moment, the Suns, that's for sure. The last few seasons, they've been pushing for the 8, haven't been able to make it, and now finally they're in it. Still nearly potentially could have choked a top 8 spot with the last few rounds of footy, and honestly, so could we. But look, we're in great form. I'm not sure what our record is over the last 14 games, but I think we've won either 13 or 12 of them, so we're in really good form. And a home final against a team that has never played finals before, this is the ideal finals game for anyone, I guess you would say. Like, any team in the competition, if you would ask them who would they prefer to play in a final, it is 100% Gold Coast at their home deck. So look, I'm not trying to get cocky already because we could do the most Freo thing ever and somehow screw this up, but I've said that a lot of times this year, and I've actually been proved wrong by Freo. Like, I've sort of been saying, nah, we won't win this game, and then we'll go out and beat Collingwood at the G, we'll beat Gold Coast up on the Gold Coast, we'll beat Giants at NG, and we'll beat the Dogs at Marvel. Like, they just keep on proving me wrong, the Dockers, and because of that, at our home deck, in a home final, I think we've done so well this year to cough up such a winnable game like this. So I'm going to be backing us in by 16 points in the elimination final. And the Suns, well, it's their first final. I'm not sure how many players on their list have played finals, if any. But yeah, at our home deck, I'm going to be backing us in. I'm pretty confident in this one. But like I said, we could do the most Freo thing ever and somehow mess this up. Here we go, on to the semi-finals. The first one we have is the Crows and the Hawks at Adelaide Oval. This will bring in such a crowd, and well, the Hawks, they love a bit of a celebration, and the Crows, well, they could definitely crash the party. It's sort of giving me similar vibes to the Port and Hawks prelim last year at Adelaide Oval. Obviously, it's not Port this time, it is the Crows. And, well, the Crows, obviously, they got done in the first week of finals against the Collingwood in my predictions. And, look, with the season that the Crows have had, there's no way I can see them going out in straight sets at all. Like, they haven't played finals in a while, yes, but wow, when they're going, like, they're the best team in the competition. And at their home deck, I don't think we'll see them drop this one. And the Hawks, well, they can be a bit shaky sometimes. So I reckon the Crows will get this one done by 27 points in the one comfortable game I've had predicted for this finals series. The Hawks will bring it to them for sure, but I feel like, the Crows will run away with it in front of their home crowd. Like, there's no way they're going out in straight sets when they've got 2 home finals. There's no way. Can't see it happening after the year that they have had. And the Hawks, well, yeah, I reckon this is where their season comes to a close. Here we go, the second semi-final between the Cats and the Dockers at the MCG. This is absolutely huge. And look, if the Cats are to drop this one, they're out in straight sets. And if the Dockers are to win this one, then they're onto a home prelim final against the Pies. And now, a lot of people, I'm just going to cut to the chase. A lot of people are going to call me biased here, but we beat Collingwood at the MCG this year. We've done stuff that I never thought was possible, and I feel like this is going to be another game where they just prove me wrong somehow. I'm tipping the Dockers to get this one done by 4 points. Now, we got absolutely hammered by Geelong earlier on in the year at their home deck. That was in round 1. A lot has happened. A lot has changed for us since then as well. And yeah, like I've said, we have proved so many people wrong, and we've got some really solid wins under the belt to prove that we can actually beat these really solid teams and away from home as well. So I'm going to tip us by 4 points in the semi-final. The Cats are gone in straight sets. Call me biased if you want in the predictions. Probably a lot of angry Cats fans coming in. Yeah, look, the Cats could easily win this one for sure, especially at the MCG. If it was at ģēmeģbja Stadium as a home final for the Cats, tipping Geelong 100%. At the MCG, it's a bit more of a neutral territory. So, look, it'll favour us. Definitely not playing at ģēmeģbja. But it'll also favour Geelong, playing at the MCG in their home state, obviously. But yeah, we picked up some really solid wins this year. Collingwood at the MCG was a huge task to accomplish, and we did do it. And look, there's no reason why we can't beat Geelong there. And especially in another big, high-pressure, high-stakes game, I reckon we'll get it done by 4 points. Call me cocky, call me biased, whatever you want. That's my prediction. Which means the first preliminary final is between the Pies and the Dockers at the MCG. We got it done by a point there in the home and away season. However, I don't see us winning this game. A Collingwood home final at the MCG is completely different to just a home and away season game. And with the Pies and how they are in finals with their great form, and look, in front of that many fans at the MCG, oh, look, I'm going to be tipping the Pies by 15 points here. I reckon they'll get it done for sure. There goes the end of the Dockers season. I remember a few years ago we played the Dockers at the MCG in a final as well. I believe that was a semi-final against the Pies after we knocked off the Dogs at home in a massive comeback in 2022. And yeah, David Mundy's farewell game, that one was. And well, we couldn't get it done, and to be fair, we're never looking a sniff in that game as well. So, yeah, I reckon there'll be chances in this game that we'll be able to take, but we won't take them. And the Pies, well, in front of a home crowd, like, there's not many teams that I would pick to beat Collingwood in a final at the MCG. So, especially not us. So, yeah, I reckon that's where our season comes to a close, and the Pies are into a grand final, and a home one as well, so huge. And for the second preliminary final, we've got the Lions taking on the Crows at the Gabba. This is huge. The Lions obviously got it done against the Cats up at the Gabba in the first week of finals, so they've jumped to a home prelim. And the Crows, well, they've taken the long route. They lost against the Pies in the first week of finals, and they knocked off the Hawks at Adelaide Oval, and now they've come to the Gabba to complete, well, a really difficult task. However, with the bit of shaky form that I've seen during the season with the Lions, I reckon this is where their season comes to a close, and I reckon the Crows will come across and upset them at the Gabba. The Gabba isn't a fortress for the Lions anymore like it has been in previous seasons. They're really, like the teams going to the Gabba, it's a lot more winnable this season than it has been in prior seasons. They used to make that just their absolute fortress, and that hasn't been the case for them this year. So the Crows are more than a sniff here for sure. Going to be tipping the Crows by 5 points to get up over the Lions at the Gabba in the prelim, which means the Pies and the Crows face off in the last Saturday of September. Now, we've seen some absolute blockbuster games between these two sides over the years. They've always been close, and the combined margin for results over the last, I think it was like 5 games, has been really slim. Like, it's under 20 points. So it's incredible what these two teams can produce in terms of quality footy and just entertainment as well. Oh, Adelaide, look, I can see him running around on grand final day and having a massive crack and just digging into the Pies. But at the end of the day, like I did mention in the prelim, the Pies at a home grand final, they're going to get it done, I reckon. And look, as much as I don't want them to win, not so much because I'm a Collingwood hater, just because I like to see new teams win it every year, and obviously Collingwood won it a couple of years ago. The Crows, if they won it, I'd be so happy. Obviously, if Freo didn't win it, probably the Crows would be the runners-up for me for who I would want to see win the flag this year. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to go the Pies in this one. But the Crows, wow, like genuinely could see them getting up here. But I'm going Collingwood by 2 points in one of the biggest and best grand finals we've seen, probably since Dom Sheed, I reckon, or since 2023 when Collingwood last played. Collingwood, well, I reckon, yeah, they go on 3 straight wins in the final series, and they're just such a different team in finals. And yes, they've been shocking, like the last 5 weeks, but Craig McRae knows what he's doing. The Pies know what they're doing. This isn't a new stage for them, all right? Like, they're comfortable in final series. They win these close games, and they're just so experienced. Now, could the Pies' last 5 weeks of form come into the finals and really bite them on the bum? Absolutely, it could. But yeah, the Pies know what they're doing. I reckon they're going to just turn it on in the final series, and after a pretty shocking end of the home and away season, look, as much as I don't want them to win it, this is just my predictions, man. So I'm going to be backing in the Pies by 2 points. Norm Smith, well, look, I'm probably just going to have to go pretty generic. I'll go Nick Dacos to win the Normie. Yeah, he's an absolute gun, and the Crows, I reckon their season comes to an end. And just because of, like, obviously they finished top of the ladder, but they haven't played finals since 2017, so it's a bit hard to sort of get a bit of judgment in how they're going to play this final series. I've tipped them to win a couple of finals, but at the end of the day, Collingwood are experienced. They know what they're doing. I reckon they'll get it done by 2 points. There we go, everyone. There's my finals predictions. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Leave some video suggestions down below in the comments, and I'll try and get around to some. Got plenty of ideas in mind, and I say this at the end of every video, and it takes about 4 weeks or months even for me to upload my next video. So we'll see when my next upload is. We got some good things planned for the future though, for sure. Cheers guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.